Well, we're here. So we took last week off. Things got a little crazy. We're both doing some things and having some vacation time and traveling. We're going to start today off. We're an hour earlier than we typically want to go. We want to try to keep this consistent and go at 10 o'clock on Wednesdays so that we can develop some consistency with that. But the reason that we're going early is because I want to say congratulations to my sister and brother-in-law who are not watching this by any means, but they had their second child. Knox William was brought into the world on Sunday night, and so we're going a little early so my wife can get up and say hi to our new nephew. So that's why we're going early. So congratulations to Kylie and Alex, and welcome into the world, Knox. We're going to start today by talking about the why we're both doing in the profession, and also the overall why of Omaha Spine and Sport. And I think it's important to kind of let you guys know why we're doing these things. Many of you know the what and the how, and those are the things that most people tell you is what we do, how we do it, why we're different, those kinds of things. But it's never like the underlying purpose of a practice or an individual's why, as far as what they're doing and why they're in the profession that they're in, or why they do the things that they do. So we're going to try to do that this week. We're going to keep it a little shorter than we have been, and just give you a little background about us, and then finish it by giving you the why of Omaha Spine and Sport. So I'm going to start by asking Jace and letting Jace tell you kind of his chiropractic story and his own personal why, and then you can hear about mine, which is pretty boring. So we'll let Jace roll with this.
So I originally came interested in chiropractic after like a lot of people or a lot of chiropractors that you come across, is they had an experience with chiropractic. So mine was, I went to my local chiropractor, Dr. Mike Campbell, if he's listening. He's what got me interested. And I think I've always told people, like, hey, I had a low back injury, I wanted to continue playing soccer. Dr. Kinkle just helped me out, and I thought it was a really unique skill set that he had, and that made me want to look into it more. And then after kind of looking into it, I found, like, hey, this is for me. I knew I wanted to be in the healthcare profession, help people on a daily basis, have that constant interaction. But I think even deeper than that, and after thinking about it and being in practice myself, it's like that whole experience that it was when I went to the chiropractor. It's how he was. Like, he seemed very, very happy, and he had a waiting room full of happy people. His staff seemed to enjoy what they were doing. So that whole experience just kind of made me think, like, wow, I think I could be really happy being a chiropractor, being able to help people on a regular basis and have that constant interaction. Like with our treatment plans, we get to know people very, very well. And I think that puts our patient satisfaction much, much higher than a lot of other professions, where you go to your medical doctor, you may see him every 6 months. Like, that relationship just isn't there. So I kind of crave that relationship with people and getting to know people a little bit better. And then I think that flows over into my why. Like, my why is I want to create this unique human experience that involves a dialogue and touching and questions and answers, and provide that to the patient, which I think our healthcare system has kind of gotten away from that a little bit, and then be able to solve a problem. Any successful business has to solve a problem. Obviously, we have a problem with pain in this country, and whether it's low back, neck, shoulder, all that stuff, and then being able to do that so people can continue to do what they love. I think far too often people are told, well, you need to stop doing that. You need to stop squatting. You need to stop lifting, whatever it is. But that's why they're here, is they want to continue, whether it's playing with their grandkids or being able to hit a PR snatch, something like that. And it's that big of a spectrum that we see in our office, and and that's also exciting, that it's all different types of people. I only want to treat athletes, and that would be boring. Athletes can get boring sometimes, so you want to see everybody, and that's what we do here at Omaha Spine and Sport. We have people that just want to play with their grandkids, and we have Division I college athletes, and everywhere in between, young kids, old people. So that's what's really, really exciting about what we do. And like Corey said, we tell people what we do and how we do it. We have what we treat cards. I think that we kind of were laughing about that this morning, yeah. But conditions we treat, that's the what. Techniques we use, that's the how. But nobody ever hears our why, so that's why we really wanted to get together on Facebook and record this so people know the why. Why do we do what we do? Why do we wake up every morning excited about coming to work and helping people?
That's some good points. Those are some things that I guess I never really thought of, but I guess it's just like an underlying theme here in the office is we don't want to take things away from you. We don't want you to stop running. Runners hate to stop running, lifters hate to stop lifting, And that's something I guess I've never really thought of. Like Jace brings up a good point. Like we try to keep you doing the things that you love to do, and maybe even help you do those things a little bit more. But that's just kind of an underlying thing with us in here. We kind of all understand that we want to just keep you doing the things you do, or at least help you get back to where you want to be. Because I think too often people are just too quick to take things away. Like to tell somebody that they can't run anymore, they have to, they have to completely change their lifestyle, or they're not going to be able to work this job anymore. Like I think that's disempowering, and that's kind of the opposite of what we want to do here. My chiropractic story is very boring. I had never even gone to a chiropractor before I decided to go to chiropractic school. I was a medical technologist working in Lincoln at a Quest Diagnostics in a lab. I worked the 5 to 1 a.m. shift. It was the busiest shift there. I came to work one night, and there were 3 full tote buckets full of urine samples to go through that had been left over from the day shift. And I decided right then and there that I was done with it. And so I started shadowing some people. I shadowed a PA, applied to PA school. I shadowed a chiropractor, and I shadowed some medical doctors. And like the chiropractor that I followed around was one of my friends that I played college football with, Dr. Jason Funk, who practices out in Rushville, Nebraska. So if you're listening, Jason, I doubt you are, but hey, how are you? So I followed Jason around. He had a happy practice. He had happy patients. It wasn't like a sick environment like the other environments that I went to. And I liked that whole idea of health and being more active and kind of being able to mold a practice into what you want and your personality. So that's why I decided to go to chiropractic school. I visited a couple of schools. I went to Palmer. It was a really super rainy day, and decided that the Quad Cities wasn't for me. It was kind of not a good day. And I went to Kansas City and just decided those were the 2 closest ones that I went to, and just went to Kansas City and became a chiropractor through there. And it's funny because the practices that I followed around are nothing like the practice that I have now. It's a completely different kind of model that we have here. And that's okay, but that's what made, that's what got me into the profession, and I'm glad for it. I didn't have any miracle stories or anything like that. I enjoyed the practice model that I followed around, and I went down that route. So that's kind of a boring personal history. My personal why has changed a lot over the 13 years I've been in practice. When I first started, I wanted to prove to everybody that you could run a practice and be like the most skilled and the most knowledgeable and like the smartest and best practice, like just based on skill and knowledge alone. That's what my why was to prove to everybody that I was the smartest, most skilled chiropractor in Lincoln, where I originally started practice with Dr. Bo Bryson. And that quickly became a very frustrating way to practice, because being the smartest and the best doesn't mean you're going to have massive success, unfortunately. And they've shown that in studies that 25% of success is dependent on your skill and your knowledge. The other 75% is that ability to communicate, having a good support group, and your ability to view stress as a challenge, which I didn't always do. I always kind of took things head on, got determined, ran through things, and that doesn't always work in practice. And so my why has definitely evolved and changed over the years. Originally, when we started out in Lincoln, our why was to bring this comprehensive conservative care model to Lincoln and just kind of blow the doors off with our knowledge and our skills. And for me anyway, that was kind of my goal. And it just didn't, it worked, and it's still a very successful practice with Dr. Bryson, but he can tell you that he also has changed his why in a lot of different ways. So my why has gone from one to being the most skilled and most knowledgeable to being very bad with my skills and knowing nothing. That's a complete joke. But my why has definitely changed to one where I shifted from a view of me doing everything to one that's all about the patient. So my personal why is when somebody walks in the door, like the 15 or 45 minutes or 20 minutes that they're here, I want that to be the best 20 minutes of their day or the best 15 minutes of their day. I want it to be all about them and not about me. The biggest compliment I can get now is that they go somewhere else and they would say, well, I didn't even realize that he was as skilled as he was, or I didn't realize he was as good a chiropractor as he was. I just knew that he was a nice guy and that he cared about me. And that's my personal why, is that I want them to know that I care first and foremost before they even care what I know. And so that's my personal why. As far as our why, the Omaha Spine and Sport why, I think it's important. Yeah, ours. I think it's important to have something that's bigger than one person. And yes, I started this 4 years ago, but now we have more services and more people here. Dr. David Eisenmanger's next door working on patients. Jason, myself are the docs. We have an acupuncturist here, Sarah, and we're going to bring in more services. We're going to bring in a massage therapist eventually, and probably a personal trainer or somebody to help us with some of the rehab, and eventually like a nutritionist, so that we have this conservative care, singular, one-stop shop place that's filled with quality individuals and not just services. We don't want to just fill the roofs fill the building and put just everything under one roof without it being high quality and having the same vision and the same purpose and the same why that we have here at Omaha Spine and Sport. So first and foremost, I would say our why is three-pronged, is that we believe that we can help every single person that walks in the door in some capacity. We're not going to fix everybody, because we also believe that people aren't like cars. They're not mechanisms that we can just like take pieces out and put pieces in. They're not just purely biomechanics, but they're more like gardens, in that we can help facilitate like the growth of that garden and the changes and the adaptations that need to be made to people so that they can function better. So that's probably the first part of our why here, is to be able to address every single condition that walks in the door with a high level of skill, a high level of knowledge, and then a high level of humility and just compassion, and getting across the communication part of it, that you're in the right place and we can help you in some capacity. We're not going to necessarily fix everybody, and we're going to get that across as well, but that we can help everybody that walks in the door in some fashion, and deliver it in a way that's very personal and very individualized. That's probably the first part of our why. I would say the second part of our why here at Omaha Spine and Sport is to change the perception of the profession in our community, to change what people perceive chiropractic is, and what it can do for you. Those are the things that we really want, and not just within the patient community, but within the healthcare profession in general, and to show and to build a model and a belief that you can come to a chiropractic facility and get more than just a manipulation. Like, that's not what we're all about. Yes, that's a big part of it. Our hands are always going to be a main part of what we do here. The manual therapy skills that we have in this building are off the charts, and we want to foster that and continue to grow that, but we also want to address all the factors that make you a human: your nutrition, your sleep, your emotional well-being, your obviously your neuromusculoskeletal problems, chronic pain issues, neurological issues. Like, we want to be able to address all the things and under one roof, and empower you to be a better person functionally, from a pain standpoint, and just to live a better life. So to change the perception of what chiropractic is in the community would be the second belief system that we have, and the second why as to why Omaha Spine and Sport is bigger than just me or Dr. Peters or Dr. Eisenmanger. It's this underlying belief that we can, through high quality individuals and getting the right people on the bus, we can change what people think about chiropractic and why they would go to a chiropractor, not just for backs and necks. And I would say the third part, or the three-pronged part of this, is to empower you to not only live a better life, but to get to where you want to, and to realize that you're ultimately in charge of your own health, and that we're here not to fix you, but to facilitate that growth and that change, and to help you become a better you, either through pain control, whether it's through function, whether it's through some of the other things that we hope this model evolves into: nutrition, sleep, emotional well-being. Like, that's the things that we want to help you become a part of your own healthcare. We want to empower you to be a better you, and that's the third part of our three-pronged why. And to do that with humility, some humor, and a lot of compassion. There's plenty of humor.
And a little hick, if
and
you're
quite a bit of hick. For those of you who don't know, I am from the northwest corner of the state, the Panhandle, between a place called Alliance and Shattern. You may not even know where that's at.
Get your map out.
Yep. My dad always said that it's not in the middle of nowhere, but if you stand on a roof, you can see it from there. So
Yeah.
We were that close to the middle of nowhere. So that's kind of our why in general, just the overall why of the office. Anything to add with that?
I don't think so. I mean, I think we'll try to keep this one short. I think Corey did a good job explaining our why as an office and getting the right people on the bus. And hopefully you just stay with us as this continues to grow. Like, it's grown a lot. We've expanded the office, brought on new providers, and we don't plan on slowing down any. And I think we're really focused on our community here in Omaha. And the best thing any other chiropractors or students can do is try to change that perception in their community. Like, we can't do everything. Like, we're going to focus on Omaha and being a part of this community, and hopefully we can grow it together.
Yeah,
that's the goal.
That is the goal, and it's this is our facility, yes, but this is all about you, and we want this model and this facility to be about you. If there are students or other docs out there that are watching this, I would encourage you. This all came from Simon Sinek's book, Start With Why, that I read a while ago, and then I've revisited it just recently. And anybody that's just going to go out there and do their own thing, or even if you just want to be a better person, his whole idea is this idea of this golden circle, which is, you can see this, it's start with the middle part, and then the how and the what basically is your skills and abilities, your disciplines, your character, your congruence. All of that stuff is part of the why, or the how and the what, but you have to have a true purpose what you do. And whether you're working for somebody in a corporate America, whether you're farm and ranch, whatever it is, like, be very clear about your why and know why you're doing the things you are. And if it doesn't match up with what you're doing, then change. Like, you can always change, and that's what Simon Sinek in his book Start With Why kind of talks about. But be very clear on your purpose and your passions for what you do in your life, and that's what our purpose and passion is here at Omaha Spine and Sport. So thanks for joining us. We kept this one short, and we'll see you next week at 10 o'clock.
Signing off.